Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to my academic speaking and listening class. Today's material will be about academic presentation skills, but I am trying to make this presentation, this video, in order to make you easier to remember about the material, and also you can play it over and over again so you can understand and comprehend the content of this material very well. Okay, the topic is academic presentation skills. Yeah, academic presentation skills. You know that many people feel terrified when asked to make their first public talk. Some of these initial fears can be reduced by giving good presentation that also lays the groundwork for making an effective presentation. And what is presentation? Now move to the next slide. Okay. Presentation is a structured, prepared, and speech-based means of communicating information or ideas to a group of interested people in order to inform or persuade them. It is also a means of communication that can be adapted to various speaking situations, such as talking to a group of people, addressing a meeting, or briefing the team. And to be effective, step-by-step preparation and method of presenting information, of course, should be carefully considered. And here, there is good and bad presentation, good versus bad presentation. And you have to think these points very carefully. What makes a good presentation? What irritates people during a presentation? And what would be your concerns in making a good presentation in English? Steps needed to make an effective presentation. There are three important steps. The first one is planning, the second is preparation, and the third one is delivery. Here we have the first step, which is very crucial, and it is planning. In planning, we have to think about these aspects. The first one is, what is the purpose of your presentation? And a good starting point is to decide if it will be informative, it will be entertaining, or it will be inspiring or persuasive. So think about the purpose of your presentation. And then who will be your audience? Are you familiar with your audience? With a new audience, of course, you will have to build rapport quickly and effectively to get them on your side, because audience is the ones receiving your message of your presentation. And then the third aspect is, what are you trying to achieve through this presentation? Here, check how will you be built to give you clues as to what information need to be included in your presentation. Okay, in planning, greeting plays a very important role. So please don't forget to greet the audience. There is no second chance for a first bad impression. So please, greet can create a good impression of the presenter in a presentation. And then the next thing to do is stating the purpose. And these are the examples of phrases or the expressions that you can use in stating the purpose in your presentation. For example, this morning I will be talking about academic presentation skills. And then I will be telling you about, or I will be showing you about, or this morning I will be taking a look at. I will discuss about, or I will highlight the topic that you are going to present. Or the other expressions or the other phrases such as, so I will begin by showing you blah, 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 or I will begin by outlining what is the topic. So these are the examples of phrases or expressions that you can use to state the purpose of your presentation. So in stating your purpose, say what you are going to do and then do it. After that, say what you have done. Yeah. So 3 points are very important in stating your purpose of your presentation. Say what you are going to do and do it, and say what you have done. Okay, this is the continuation. Planning. Besides that, design your message also is very important. Making a presentation is a way of communicating your ideas, your thoughts to the audience. So please pay attention to design your message. What is the message? Message is delivered by the presenter to the audience, and it is delivered not just by the spoken word or verbal communication, but can be augmented by the techniques such as voice projections, body language, gesture, eye contact, which are categorized as nonverbal communication, and also it can be augmented by visual aids. Yeah, so here, design your message is very important in planning. The message will also be affected by the audience expectation. For example, if you have been built as speaking in one particular topic and you choose to speak on another, the audience is unlikely to take your message on board, even if you present very well. They will judge your presentation a failure because it didn't meet their expectation. Yeah. So design your message of your presentation is very important. And then after that, organize your material. This is the time for you to jot all your ideas down on your paper, to create an outline and rough draft of all points you will cover in your presentation. And the third one is design the look of your presentation. So please consider the look of your presentation. Make sure that the look of your presentation is very interesting, and create the slides. The slides also, please make the slides interesting to the audience. Okay, next. Preparation. This is the other important thing. Preparations is the single most important part of making a successful preparation, I guess. It is an absolutely crucial foundation, and you should dedicate as much time to it as possible and avoiding shortcuts. Good preparation will ensure that you have thought carefully about the messages that you want or need to deliver, to communicate, to convey to the audience in your presentation. And of course, I think by doing good preparation, it will also help you to boost your confidence. So preparation is very important part in a successful presentation. There are a number of points, there are a number of aspects that you have to think and consider in preparing your presentations. The first one is subject of your presentation. Please think about the subject of your presentation, prepare it very well, and then organize your points logically. Rehearse in private, keep notes to a minimum, and don't be afraid because mistake is a must in speaking class. Okay. All right. Next. Yeah, the next one is the delivery. What is delivery? Delivery refers to the way in which you deliver the presentation, in which you perform your presentation. It is a delivery. It is the delivery. And then it is also a vital aspect of your presentation, at least as important as the content, as the subject, as important as the content or the subject of your presentation. Have you listened to the charismatic presenters who gain and maintain the attention of the audience? Have you also encountered speakers who quickly put the audience to sleep? Remember, experienced presenters learn to communicate effectively by using voice, okay, and then eye contact, body language, while trying to establishing a comfortable environment for the audience. For example, regarding the delivery, using your voice effectively can have a great impact on your delivery. And then the best speaking voice is conversational, natural, and enthusiastic. And maintaining eye contact to keep attention level high is also important. And use positive facial expression, such as smile. It is also very crucial in giving great presentation. So that's about the delivery. And then next, yeah, the next one is body language during presentation. As I told you before, providing and showing the positive expressions such as smile and then make eye contact. Do not lock your arms, knees unlocked, head up, and then move. Yeah, and connect with the audience. And the last step is breathe and relax. This is the examples of presentation building blocks. It is taken from Rieger, 1997, which is began with greeting and then introduce yourself. After that, you introduce your talk and then outline talk and present main parts. If you have 4 or more than 4 parts, so please present here. And after presenting the main parts, don't forget to summarize main points and conclude talk. And the last one is invite questions. So this is the most common structure of the presentation. It is taken from Rieger 1997. Okay, what makes a great presentation great? It doesn't just happen. There is a theory behind the presentation process, and great presentations are carefully crafted on many levels to make sure that presenters capture and keep the audience attention. There are 3 presentation essentials. The first one is use visual aids wherever you can, because this is the first point, because visual aids can help you emphasize main ideas, can help you illustrate the concepts. Yeah, so this is very important. And then the second one is rehearse, rehearse, and rehearse. You have to remember why rehearsal is very important, because if you fail to prepare, it means that you are prepared to fail. And then the third one is memorize your script, because here your comprehension of the content is also a must to give great presentation. And then design the look of your presentation. So the first rule is keep it short and simple. So let's say kiss. It stands for keep it short and simple. Use short words and short phrases. Do not put every word of your entire presentation on them. So remember, keep it short and simple. Make sure that the text is large enough and for people in the back of the room to read your slides. So make sure that it is large enough. And the second one is you also have to remember that do not ever read the text that's on the visuals. But what you have to do is paraphrase and add to it, add elaboration on it. Okay. Why visuals? Visuals are powerful tools because they increase understanding and also it saves time, enhance attention, and help control nervousness. Yes, when you need to elaborate the point, visual aids are very powerful to illustrate the concept, to also help you give deep understanding, deep comprehension of the content. So it is very helpful. Visual aids are very helpful. And then this is the visual aid. It is a wide variety of items, handouts, slides, moving pictures, posters, models, objects, and many others. So these are the type of visual aids that you can use in providing effective presentations. Yeah. And then here are some tips. Do you use color? So it is very interesting using color. Make sure that the visual aid is visible. Yeah, visible for the people in the back of the room. So make sure that it is visible, not only from the people in front of the room, but also in the back of the room. And then use pictures or designs to quickly and colorfully convey an idea. It is very interesting. And charts and graphs are useful to present the data and relationship among variables. Yes. So do not make your slides too wordy. When you want to present the data, it's better for you to use charts or graphs, yeah, rather than using text, many paragraphs, yeah. It is too wordy, so please avoid that kind of word slides, yeah. And then you can also use statistics. Visual aids often show statistical information that can be displayed in a variety of ways. Line graphs, for example, they are best for showing fluctuations. Bar graphs, they are best for comparing data from groups. Pie graphs, best for showing the vision of a population. Table are best when the data can be arranged in columns and rows. Lists are based for things that are done in stages or occur in steps. Flow charts show the order in which processes occur. And then organizational charts show hierarchies and relationships. Pictographs are based for data that relate to object or people. Yeah. So here, in presenting information, of course, the information also include the data. And because this is spoken English, so you have to know about how to verbalize the data. Yeah. So talking about data, we are also talking about numbers. There are two types of numbers, cardinal and ordinal numbers. Yeah. In telling time, for example, you have to use cardinal. Yeah, cardinal numbers. It is like counting the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are cardinal numbers. So when you were asked about what time is it, it is 10 o'clock. 10 is cardinal number. What time is it? It is 10:13. It is also cardinal numbers. But when you tell date, please do not use cardinal numbers, but you have to use ordinal numbers. For example, what date is it today? Oh, it is the 2nd of January. Yeah. Do not say it is 2 of January, but it is 2nd of January. So that's ordinal number. And then what about telling year? Telling year is using cardinal number. For example, when were you born? I were born in 1988. 1988 is cardinal number. Yeah, so please remember, in telling time you use cardinal number, in telling date you use ordinal number, order. So it is not 1, 2, but it is first, second, third, and so on and so forth. In telling year, you use cardinal number. Okay. And then this is how you say these numbers. Yeah, 1,000, 100,000, a million, 100 million, a billion, a trillion, until a decillion. Yes, you can imagine how many zeros there. And then you also have to understand and know about math symbols. Plus, minus, equals, or is equal to, divided, multiplied, times, less than, greater than, square root, square, etc. Yeah. And then telling money, you also have to know how to tell money, because data also include money. Yeah. For example, $1.45. It should be said $1.45, not $1.45. No, but $1.45. In rupees, you can say 1,500 rupees. And then this is the example of saying date or telling date in English. The 5th of October 2004. Or you can also say October 5th, 2004. So if we pay attention to this, in telling date, it uses ordinal numbers, the 5th, not the 5. It becomes the 5th. But in telling year, it uses cardinal, 2004, 2004. Okay. Here in telling year, using cardinal numbers, 1980, 1845, 2010. So you have to divide the first 2 digit and then the second 2 digit, 2010. Or you can also 2010. Yeah. Exception 1900, 1800. Avoid telling or avoid saying 1900, but say it 1900. Yeah, remember this. And then this is how you say fraction, fraction, a half, yeah, a quarter, 3/4, a third, 2/3, a fifth, 2/5. So if we pay attention here, the first word is cardinal, and then the second is ordinal. Just like the last one, 2 is cardinal, and then 5th is ordinal. So that is the way how you say fraction in English. Okay, this is another example. 3/5, 4/5, a 6, 5/6, an 8, 3/8, 5/8, 7/8. Don't forget to add. Don't forget to add s in the end. Yeah. Okay, this is another way you see the decimals. 0.1, 0.01. So do not ever say 0. It's better for you to say O or naught. Yeah. 0.1, note 0.01, note 0.0001, 1.1, 1.2, 1.23, 1.0123, 10.01, 21.57, 2.6 recurring. So do not say 2.6666666. How many six that you are going to say, but enough by saying 2.6 recurring, 2.6123 recurring, and then 2.5 million. Now, what is a graph? A graph is a diagram that exhibits the relationship between two variables. Each variable is represented by one axis on the graph. Yeah, and then these are the types of graph: bar graph, line graph, circle graph, pictograph, and scatter plots. Yeah, and then how do you interpret a graph? Because you know the presenter can present the data in a graph too. And then when you verbalize the data in the form of a graph, the first thing that you have to interpret is the subject of the graph. What is the subject of the graph? What is the title of the graph? After that, what do the horizontal and vertical axis represent? Pay attention to the horizontal axis. What do the horizontal axis represent? And then look at the vertical axis. What do the vertical axis represent? And then after that, what trend or pattern does the graph reveal? Yeah, the pattern. Please pay attention to the pattern that the graph reveal. And then what are the implication of the graph? What prediction can you make or what conclusion can you draw? And these are the examples of useful expressions. For example, this graph shows blah, blah, blah. The subject of this graph. This format clearly illustrates the subject. The horizontal axis represents, for example, the horizontal axis represents the year. The vertical axis represents number of population or number of students. The line of the graph illustrates the relationship between blah, blah, blah and blah, blah, blah. And then the trend revealed by this graph is decreasing or increasing. Yeah. And these are the trend, this kind of trends of line graphs. Yeah, it is straight, and then this is curve, and this is wavy, and this is called zigzag, and then this is dotted, and this is vertical trend, horizontal, diagonal, and parallel lines. Now, this is also the other types of trend, which is revealed from the graph. Yeah. And you can also use the synonym. Yeah. The synonym of increase, for example, rise, go up, uplift, rocketed, climb, upsurge, or soar. And this is the pattern. Yeah. It climbed, for example, it climbed gradually or it climbed slowly. And then after that, it slumped. And then it increased sharply. And then it stabilized. And finally, it dropped. Yeah, so these are the examples of the words that you can use to describe the pattern. And then this is also the words, the phrases that you can use to describe the trends or the patterns. Verb to describe the increase, for example, like rise, jump, grow, climb, go up, increase, and soar. And here, the verbs to describe the decrease, such as fall, drop, decline, decrease, go down, launch, and plummet. And this is about how it increased. For example, it rapidly, quickly, sharply, steeply. It increased rapidly, for example. Yeah. It decreased considerably. It decreases substantially. And then if it decreases steadily, moderately, and it decreases slowly. So here, if I say like this, so for example, if the first point is in here, and then it increases rapidly, so it becomes here. Yeah, but it decreases slightly, so only here. It increase steadily, it increase considerably, it increase quickly. Okay, and then how to describe stable? You can say it remain constant, it remain steady, or it stay stable. Yeah. So this is the examples, the structure, the word order. For example, the sales fell slightly. Yeah. So it is started by the subject and then verb and adverb. What happened? How did it change? The prices dropped sharply. Yeah. So the prices from this point, it dropped sharply, become here. Okay. And this is, remember, the verb is often in the past tense, but always check this. There is a slight rise in sales. So this is another version of describing trends. Yeah. You can also use this structure, and you can also use the second structure. And then other ways to say the rates fluctuated. Yeah, you have to know that fluctuated can be also stated in another way, such as rose and fell erratically, went through an erratic period, experienced a period of erratic behavior, showed some variation, fluctuated wildly, experienced a period of instability, entered a period of fluctuation, and witnessed considerable variation. And then this is the other ways to say remain stable. You can say remain the same, even out or leveled off, maintain the same level, hold steady, remain relatively unchanged, remain consistent or constant, reach a plateau, or plateaued. Yeah, so you can use other ways to say remain stable. There are many ways. Yeah. And then this is the examples of describing the trends in line graph. The consumptions of petroleum peaked at over 50% in 1973, then gradually declined over the next 12 years. Since 1985, global petroleum consumption has remained stable at 40%. For the first decade after 1970, the rate of nuclear energy consumption was unchanged at around 5% worldwide. After 1980, it slowly increased, and since 1995, it has plateaued at 12%. And this is the examples of bar chart. Okay, the graph shows the growth of the population in Indonesia from 1930 to 2000. The horizontal axis represents the use in different intervals. The vertical axis represents the population in units of 50 million. So remember, in interpreting the graph, yeah, the first thing that you have to interpret is the subject. What is the subject of the graph? So it tells the graph shows the growth of the population in Indonesia. And then what does horizontal axis represent? It represents years in different intervals. After that, what does vertical axis represent? It represents the population in units of 50 million. After that, don't forget to describe the trends. The trend revealed by this graph is that the population of Indonesia began to increase dramatically around 1971 and continued to accelerate through 2000. By studying this graph, we can predict that the population of Indonesia will double itself around 2030. So this is the prediction. Okay, and then let's move to the table. Table is a list that presents numerical data in columns. The data are usually arranged in either descending or ascending order. Yeah, so there is descending and also ascending, from small to high, from high to small. How do you interpret a table? Just like when you interpret the graph, in interpreting the table, you also, first of all, please tell the audience what is the subject of the table, and then what are the headings of each column, what order are the data presented in, is it descending or ascending, and what conclusion can you draw from the table. And then here, the useful expressions. The table shows the subject of this table is the data are presented in ascending order. Ascending order is the lowest number listed at the top of the column and the highest number listed last at the bottom of the column. So ascending order is started from lowest to highest, while the descending order is the highest number listed at the top and the lowest number listed last at the bottom of the column. So descending is the opposite from ascending. It is started from the highest number to the lowest number. Yeah. The left-handed column indicates, the right-handed column indicates, the column of the left represents, the column of on the right represent, and so on and so forth. This is the last slide. Okay. Remember, written versus spoken English. Written English, written information should be easy to read, while spoken English, spoken information should be easy to remember. And the last statement from me is, the best presenter is heard without shouting. Okay, thank you. I think that's all my presentation. If you have any questions related to this material, please do not hesitate to ask me in WhatsApp group or later next week in our next meeting. Okay, thank you. And I'm going to stop screen sharing. See you next time. And I really hope that you can understand about the content. Please watch this video and also please watch the examples of my academic presentation. Yeah. And then please prepare and do your best in your academic presentation as your final project. Thank you and see you next time. Bye-bye.